Hey Booktube, it's Sarah and welcome back to my channel, The Book Bag. Today I'm going to be talking about One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. I mentioned this in my last video, my favorite LGBTQ+ books, and I really liked it, so I wanted to do a more in-depth, spoilery review of this, and I thought it'd be kind of fun to do that while cooking/assembling the Sue special that's mentioned in this book. I think it might be the only thing that our main character eats on the page, so I've seen a lot of people, they've been making it and they've said it's really good and it sounds amazing. It's like a breakfast sandwich, so we're gonna give it a shot, see how it goes, and discuss the book while we do so. So this recipe is super simple. It's just 6 ingredients. So we've got eggs, bacon, maple syrup, sriracha or hot sauce, margarine, and Texas toast. Okay, so first step is going to be to start cooking the bacon. So we're going to turn that on to like medium-high heat and then open our bacon package. Also, I did wash my hands before starting this because the first rule of cooking is to wash your hands. Now that I have been de-baconified, we're going to use our trusty barbecue tongs to scooch these guys around. Okay, so we'll talk about the book while the bacon cooks. But yeah, so okay, One Last Stop is just like super adorable, and I loved like all the characters. I feel like August was like a little bit medium, but the rest of the characters were amazing. Jane was like the best love interest I've ever read. I never really kind of got the hype around like people having like book boyfriends or book girlfriends or whatever, and I was like, what are you guys talking about? They're like fictional, they're like nice or whatever, but they're not real. Until I read this book, and Jane Sue is just like so dreamy and amazing. And I was like, wow, okay, I get it. I understand the obsession with the fictional people now. Because if Jane Sue is real, I would also be one of the people like madly in love with her on the subway. So I apologize to everyone before. I understand now. The hype is real. But there's also like some really great side characters, like all of August's roommates, like Nico and Mila and Wes are also fun and weird. And Noodles, of course, the little dog, are all like really well like fleshed out characters, and they're so unique and like caring and loving. And Isaiah, the like drag queen accountant neighbor, is amazing. I love that he's an accountant. It just makes me think of that like TikTok song or whatever, where it's like when people ask what you do, like say you're an accountant, so you don't have to like tell them your real job, but he's actually an accountant, which is amazing. And I love his drag queen name, Antidepressant, and his like drag daughter, Serotonin. They're so funny, they're so good. And there's just like a really great sense of like found family in the book, which I loved, especially because I feel like August, you know, she just has like her mother and they don't really get along super well, and she's trying to like break ties with her mom. So like having this wonderful, beautiful found family is just like so heartwarming and reminded me a lot of like my experience at university, where I just had like a great gang of people on my floor in first year, and we all became like super close friends and our own little res family, which was fun. I don't know how much there's gonna be in here. Bacon's pretty loud. I might just have to like cook the bacon and talk after. Just have some like cooking ASMR. And even though like August was like kind of medium, I did still enjoy her as a character. She wasn't bad or anything. She was just like, I felt more of a like vessel for the reader. Although she did have like the reformed girl detective thing going for her, which was pretty fun and cool and neat. Yeah, I don't know. I just think that like all the other characters were so amazing and cool and like different that August probably in another book would have been like really cool and like quirky and fun. But in here it's just like, you're a reformed girl detective who's in love with like a time travel subway girl, but like, you know, your roommate has an electrical engineering degree and is making like art sculptures, and your other one's like a psychic who is covered in tattoos and bartends. Like, you know, I feel like just like, how could she compete with her excellent roomies? Shrink, my babies, shrink. I also love that Mila is like, you poor sweet child, I am your mother now. Welcome to the family. I'm like, man, would be adopted by Mila. I love you, Mom. I don't want a different mom, but like, if I were August, would love to be adopted by Mila. I do kind of wish there was like a little bit more stuff, just like roommate life in the book, because I would read a whole book that's just like the day-to-day life in that apartment, because it sounds absolutely bonkers and so fun. And it reminded me a little bit of like New Girl. I think it's just the like whole crap ton of people in like a small New York apartment who like all are best friends and like have silly shenanigans. So like, ooh, ow, oh, rude. Is this how you treat your mother? But like their game, what was it, Rolly Bangs, where they like, yeah, like their game Rolly Bangs, where they like put each other on office chairs and like shove each other across the room and go like hit the doorstop on the floor or whatever and go flying across the room. While hilarious and dangerous, does remind me a little bit of like True American from New Girl. I know the mechanics are not the same at all, but just the like absolutely ridiculous nature of like a game made up by like a household of besties. Just gave me like kind of similar vibes of like, also the kind of game where like if the parents came over, they'd be like, really? You sure? Okay, well, doesn't seem great. The kind of game that would make your parents a little bit disappointed in you for playing it. Now, the key to saving your bacon, the key to taking your bacon off is to have paper towel so you can soak up the grease, because you want a little bit of grease, but you don't want it crazy greasy. Okay. And then you just like fold over the rest of the paper towel, just like blot it so that you save a little bit of your arteries. Because, oof! Oh my God, I'm gonna die of a heart attack from the stupid bacon. Rude. And then I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cook the eggs in the bacon grease. I'll get rid of a little bit, but I will keep some and use it as like oil, and then we'll have bacon eggs. Yep. Yep. I really enjoyed the writing in this book too. It had like some good quotes, and I felt like just like really fun and like fast paced, and also at times like had a bit of a dream-like quality. I saw another review where they were like, oh, August like never has any consequences to any of the things that she does. Like she quits, she doesn't quit. She like ditches work and school for like 3 weeks when she's like trying to figure out what the heck is going on with Jane. Ooh, that egg cracked really easily. Woo! And then like was like, oh, I'm sick. Oh no, my egg yolk broke. No, rude. Okay, and then in the book it says the eggs need to be like runny yolks, which is good because that's how I like my eggs. But there we go. She ditches school and work for like 3 weeks, and then like is like, okay, I'm back now. I was sick. And doesn't really face any consequences for it. Like she gets to school and she's like, oh, I'm gonna be in so much trouble. And they're like, so it turns out you have enough credits to graduate almost. You just need to do like a few more classes and you can graduate in the fall. And she's like, what? And she just like catches up on a few midterms and then is like, ah, I can graduate now. And then like at work, they're just like, okay, yeah, just come back. Here's like a homemade recipe from like your Czech like supervisor. And you're good to come back to work now. Here's a trick I learned from my boyfriend. You put a lid on top, else it doesn't fit. It's fine. And you kind of like steam the eggs a little bit so it like cooks the whites around the yolk quicker, so you can still have like a runny yolk and then still have a fried egg. Good tips. As you can tell, I'm not the cooking one in this relationship. Thank God. But yeah, like she just comes back to work and they're like, let's do that again, welcome back, okay, woohoo. Which, I don't know, I feel like wasn't a huge sticking point for me. Like I wasn't like, this is unbelievable, I can't believe they would like do this and just like let her get away with it. It was just like, kind of like, lucky you that works out for you. But I do think it's kind of the point of like a romance. Like there's this podcast that my dad listens to called 99% Invisible, and they did an episode about romance novels. I'll put like a little link in the description somewhere. And they talk about like how with romance novels, there's like a little like contract between the like author. Why are you squealing at me? Excuse me. There's no need for that. Okay, now we try and flip it to egg. This never goes well. Okay, we gotta... We're gonna toast the bread while we're at it. But, what was I saying? Big boys. This is a lot more difficult than I thought it was gonna be. I thought, like, oh yeah, I can multitask. Turns out I cannot. If you've ever watched any of like Cindy, like Read with Cindy's cooking book, and she's always like, yeah, I can multitask, and then she's like, oh, I can't multitask. That's me right now. Right, so the podcast where they talk about the like contract between the romance authors and the audience is that like you're gonna get a happily ever after. Like you're gonna have a happy ending, it's gonna turn out okay. And I feel like the kind of like, you know, August having everything come so easily to her, and like, you know, managing to not face consequences for skipping school and work for like a lot of time kind of maybe ties into that. It like reminded me of that a bit of like, yeah, she shouldn't have gotten away with that, but like it's kind of the point of like romance books is that they like turn out okay in the end. Okay, so now we're gonna assemble a sandwich. Here's toast. Here's half the toast. So we're gonna put some margarine on it. I've seen some people put like garlic butter on it. That seems like a lot of work, and I don't have garlic butter. I just have like regular margarine. That's a lot of margarine. Don't need this much. Oh, it's okay, I'm making 2 sandwiches. Okay, so I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna go bacon, and then egg, and then the sauce, and then the other half, and then we'll do a cross section like we're on Binging with Babish, because, I mean, who wouldn't want to be on Binging with Babish? Seems like a cool dude. I said to put like hot sauce on it, but I really like we've been eating this like sriracha kind of stuff, and it's got the garlic in it. So it's got the garlic that we didn't put on the toast, on the butter. And then my friends always make fun of me because, oh, this isn't even open yet. What kind of Canadian am I? I don't have open maple syrup. My friends always make fun of me because I like to have like toast with egg and a little bit of maple syrup. Oh yeah, that's the good shit. And they're always like, what the heck is wrong with you, egg and maple syrup? And I'm like, guys, it's amazing. It's like savory and sweet and it's perfect. And they're like, you're a fool. But one last stop, new. This is validation. Thank you for this maple syrup and egg validation. Okay. So there's our sandwich. And we're just gonna cut it in half here. See, can you see? Cross section, beautiful. And we're gonna try it. So everyone hang on for like just a tick. Okay, so we're gonna try the Sue special. The yolks did not end up as runny as I wanted because they just didn't. But still looks fine. Yeah, that's really good.
It's kind of like sweet from the
maple syrup.
Oh, right. I forgot you put that on there.
Yes. So to recap, it is Texas toast, bacon, egg, maple syrup, and hot sauce. Actually, I shouldn't have cut you off. What did you think it was sweet from? What were you going to say?
Oh, I thought maybe it was the bacon or something and the hot sauce. But we should definitely make more videos like this. I like this.
Because you get to eat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Maybe just like next time put like the maple syrup on as like the last, just as you're about to take a bite.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would also put the hot sauce. I should have spread the hot sauce on the other side of the toast. And it's like pretty easy to make. It's really only like a one pan dish too.
It's kind of got that kind of like sweet and sour type of vibes going on, because the sriracha is like quite sour with all the vinegar, and then the maple syrup's very sweet. It's kind of like having sweet and sour sauce, spicy sweet and sour. It's like from Popeyes, the sweet chili heat.
Yeah.
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 That's
Ooh, that would be good on this too.
Yeah.
But yeah, we should try that next time we make one of these. Putting some sweet chili heat on it, which would be amazing because their flat, their apartment in the book is above a Popeyes. Just saying, Popeye sponsor me.
Okay, next level. This, but instead of a fried egg, French toast. So
French toast with like sriracha and maple syrup on it?
And bacon. Yeah.
And bacon. Okay.
And you could do like open face, or as like probably you do it open face because
I feel like it'd be terrible.
Be playing with
French toast.
Yeah, I think that would be good too.
So obviously that like cooking and talking about a book was not great. I don't know about saying. I can't multitask very well. And I know that about myself. So I don't know why I thought I would be able to cook and talk about a book at the same time. And also like try and give a cooking tutorial. But we're just gonna talk about the book now. I feel like some authors, when they try and use memes or like slang in their books, it feels very like shoehorned in, that they're like, haha, hashtag lit, am I right, my fellow kids? And you're like, no. Casey McQuiston does a great job of like writing the way that people in their like young 20s talk, or at least the way like me and my friends talk, without making it like cringy. Like this line, I wish I were never born, August moans into the floor. Retweet, Wes says solemnly, which I just think is so funny, and like I feel like I'm gonna end up adopting that into my own speech, that when like someone says something that I agree with, I'm like, oh yeah, retweet. Oh, and so, okay, so they've got like Mila's ex, who has like an inn at the like subway control station that they're trying to like, you know, use to shut down the power to like send Jane back to the past. And the guy shows up, and it says, one with floppy hair and a pointy chin waves Mila over. He's got a flannel tied around his waist and a faded Pickle Rick button on his messenger bag. And I think that the fact that he had a Pickle Rick button just really, like, it really said everything you needed to know about him. You were just like, I read that and I was like, ugh, this kind of guy. And then later, like, Mila's like talking to him, trying to like, you know, chat him up so she can steal his key. And he goes, yeah, and I got really into intermittent fasting and vaping. Those are like my two main hobbies. And you're just like, oh, Mila, you goddess of a woman, how did you date this man? He sounds like the worst. I, one time, heard a guy say that his two hobbies were going to the gym and banging chicks. Verbatim, his words. And this is the same energy of like, those are not hobbies, and also like, what is wrong with you? We were talking about the writing and how it's really good and like fun and fast paced, and it's got some like great lines in it. I also love at the beginning of every chapter, there's like little like blurbs and stuff, or like news articles or Instagram posts, descriptions. And then like some of them are like from the past that show like Jane in her time, like attending protests and like doing this. And then other ones are like classifieds and like Craigslist and stuff that are like, oh my God, I saw this like butch girl on the subway and she like helped this child and I'm in love. Does anyone know who this is? Because like I'm dying and I must know her and stuff like that, which is amazing. And I just love that like everyone who meets her is like kind of obsessed with her. I think it also like really shows like a consistent character for Jane. Like, you know, in the beginning of the book, she's like, I don't really know who I am. She doesn't remember have any memories. She's like, what kind of person am I? But I think those like snippets show like the consistency of her character throughout, that she's like a very caring person and she like stands up for what she believes in and helps others, which was really lovely. I feel like it also has something to say about like you being more than your memories, like having like an intrinsic personality that isn't tied to like just your memories, which I think there's an interesting idea there, but I wasn't an English major, so someone figured it out for me. But like, yeah, so like all these like little snippets at the beginning where it's like other people who like come across Jane. So like, for example, this one is a classified and it says, Butch on the Q train. Are you the short-haired Asian woman, 20 to 30, who takes a Q from Manhattan to Brooklyn on Thursday afternoons? Do you wear a black leather jacket? Do you like to be spoiled? This wealthy older businesswoman can provide you with a life of sensuality and luxury. Which I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. She wants to make Jane her sugar baby. That's so funny. But yeah, just like that sort of thing, that like everyone is like madly in love with Jane, even though they like just briefly saw her in the subway. And I'm like, Jane is really like that bitch. TM. Love it. I also like that like when we're like partially in the snippets, but also as like Jane's getting her memories back, we find out like about a lot of queer history and like various like protests and like social issues that she was like a part of and like supporting, the different like pride marches and like protests against like the Vietnam War. I think so. Stuff like that. That was like really cool to see and like really added like a depth to the book. Also, okay, so the part where they're like trying to like bring back her memories and they like bring her like food that she like remembers eating and like different smells and stuff, and then she's like, we gotta kiss and you'll remember things better because there's a lot of like touch and emotions there. And I'm like, you dumb idiots, of course this isn't good. Like, oh, I mean, like, it's one of those like kind of like cringy tropes almost that is like really great. It's really fun and you're just like, it's just so funny. And you're like, oh yeah, how could this possibly go wrong that you're like kind of in love with the girl from the subway? And she's like, I think if you kiss me, I might remember like kissing other girls in my past. Of course, that's gonna be great where you're gonna be like kissing her and she's like not kissing you, she's like kissing someone in her memory. Definitely won't be incredibly upsetting, but whatever. But then when they get to the part where they're like both like, actually, I maybe like you and would rather just kiss you and not my memory. There's this line that I really liked that really like, whew, where it says, where like August is like talking about the way that Jane kisses, and she says, she kisses like she's making a reputation. Like I don't even know, but I was just like, take a moment and process that line. There's also this line in here, once again, Mila, our queen, so wise. She just knows everything. She says, sometimes the point is to be sad, August. Sometimes you just have to feel it because it deserves to be felt. Which reminded me a lot of The Fault in Our Stars, by John Green, where I think it was Augustus who says, pain demands to be felt. And those two, I don't know, they just kind of like reminded me of each other and this like idea of like, you can't avoid pain and you have to kind of like feel it and like push through it and like live through it to come out on the other side and have it feel better, you know, be in a better place. And that like you don't have to hide from like the bad feelings and from your pain in order to live a good life. In fact, like you have to feel these like negative emotions in order to exist and like make it out okay. I also really love all of the like weird random events that these people go to. I have a description of the like Save Billy's like Pancake-a-Palooza that has like the ridiculous long name that's like, oh yeah, here it is. Save Pancake Billy's House of Pancakes Pancake-Palooza Drag and Art Extravaganza, which is an incredible name, and like Billy should just name everything always because it would just be the most descriptive title and also would like go on forever. He would spend all his money on giant signs. But the way that they describe this fundraiser is great. So it says, Isaiah's Easter brunch was madness. Christmas in July was chaos, but this is a full tilt, balls to the wall, someone getting a tattoo of Chucky Finster, drag king named Knob Dylan doing a full gymnastics routine shit show. Which I just love. And I love all of the like drag queens in here, like all of the scenes where they have drag shows are so fun. All of the names are these incredible puns and they're like so on theme, and these queens are just on point. Wish I could be attending these events because they sound like so much fun, and like you would just leave them having like had so much fun and laugh so hard that like your stomach and your cheeks would hurt and you would just be like blissed out. I also love the way that like the romance in these books is like very like deep and it's emotional and like you feel in all the feelings, but it's also like really almost casual for sometimes. For example, like Mila and Nico are like just like this cute little like domestic couple living their lives, and there's not like a ton of like giant grand romantic gestures, but like that doesn't make it less meaningful, because I feel like a lot of romance books have like those big grand gestures. Like for example, I read one called Simmer Down, I think it's by Sarah Smith, I want to say. Yeah, about rival food trucks and like the employees slash owners of them. And there's like a big thing where the guy doesn't do social media really, he's not really on his phone and stuff. And they, you know, they're together, they break up, there's a big thing. The girl has to do a big romantic gesture to get him back. So she takes a video of herself, I can't even remember, I think she was like being like, I miss you, I'm so sorry, I was wrong, and puts it on Facebook. She's trying to do a romantic gesture for a man who like half his personality is not being online, and she puts it online and then is like, oh, he didn't say anything about it. I guess he doesn't care and I guess it's over. And you're like, no, you're just dumb. He's not on Facebook. How would he see this? He's like not online. Why would you put it there? You gotta be more specific in your romantic gestures. You can't just like do that and be like, it's fine if he doesn't go on social media. And that just made me so mad because I was like, why is this this is a very bad romantic gesture, because it's not specific to the person and it just creates more confusion and it was just dumb. Anyways, that's a whole different tangent. But in here, I feel like there's not as many giant romantic gestures. Like, you know, August does that very nice like picnic on the subway when she's like trying to be like, I don't know if Jane likes me, so we'll just do like a picnic, and then that can be a friend thing too, which is very funny and cute. But like, I feel like there's, you know, Mila and Nico, and she's going to try and like seduce the key away from her ex, and she's like, you know, obviously I'm not into him or anything you hear is just like me trying to like help our friends. And she says, Nico, everything I'm about to say to this guy is a complete and total lie, and I love you and will marry you and adopt 100 three-eyed ravens or whatever it is your weird ass wants instead of kids. She mutters. I know, Nico says back. Did you just propose to me? Oh shit, I guess I did? Milo opens the door and shoves Gabe through. I'm so mad at you, Nico says. I already have a ring at home. Which is just so funny that they're like in the middle of like kind of a heist sort of thing, and that she just like casually proposes to him, and he's like, God damn it, you beat me to the punch. And I think that's just so cute, and it really, like, it suits them very well. It really matches their personalities, but it also shows that, like, you don't have to do, like, a big romantic gesture, and that, like, a lot of romance can come from those, like, smaller moments in your life. The more, I was gonna say mundane, but that's not really a mundane situation. But, you know, like, the smaller things. It doesn't have to be, like, a big, like, spend, like, $6,000 on a fancy hotel room and, like, fancy clothes, and that weird trope where they always have like the guy buy the girl clothes and he's like, wear this tonight, and she just like wears it and shows up randomly at places, and she's like, I don't know what's going on, but I'll just let this random guy kidnap me, it's fine. Anyways, there's a lot of problems in romance books. We're just gonna keep going. But I thought it was really interesting how like August's uncle that was missing was like tied into like Jane. I really liked that kind of like bond of like they were, I don't say like put there for the other one, but you know that like Jane appears to August on the subway because she can like help fill this hole in August's life, this like, you know, case that has consumed her mother. And I really like that we got like an ending to that whole mystery. I liked like that the ending wasn't just like, oh, she survived. It kind of gave us a little bit more of a, like it wrapped it up a little bit more if they're going to California to like see like the husband of August's uncle that was missing, and to like see Jane's family and try and like figure that out. And I would totally read like another book that was just their little, like a little novella of like their trip to California. I think that would be so fun. Really, I just need like 10 other books about these characters because I think they're so great and they're so interesting, and they just have like so much more like potential. Not that they didn't like live up to their potential, but just that there's like so much that they can do with them. I just think they're like really good, like well fleshed out people, and I just want to see them do like everything. I'm obsessed with them. Yeah, okay, so I think I've covered everything in my notes, which is not at all everything in the book, obviously, but then, I mean, just read the book. But yeah, so I just thought it was real great. I'm sorry that this video is like not very cohesive or coherent. I just had a lot of thoughts about very specific things, and if you haven't read the book, I don't know how you've made it this far in the video because like it's just full of spoilers and it's like really you're not gonna understand anything that's happening. You should 120% read this because it's really great. Let me know if you've read this book and what your thoughts are on it. If you like agree or disagree with some of the points I've made, I'd love to chat with you guys down in the comments. Thanks so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Doing thinky things, doing a process here. Heard the Clean Plate Club, like that. A little bit of intertextuality there for you kids.